message works. And we all need to know what is happening in your own zone. Sometimes you don't know what happened in the Philippines, like the beautiful story Sitaram said about the boy who graduated and becoming a doctor because he was inspired to see the drama. How many lives were touched? So we need to know each other and we get inspired. And now we can see in the global scale, like Zone 4, you know what happened, what is happening in Russia, what is happening in the Latin America, Europe. We all need to know, and we should have the enthusiasm to know, not by force, but by source. Hey, our Father, our Swami, His glory, His mission, how much we want. We should have that passion. That's what all we are appealing, not just forcing people to read the communication.
Thank you. There's another question. I think this can be related to the first one, but I'm not sure. If we are a spark from the divinity, then how can we explain the behavior of terrorists and other negative characters?
So let us move on to the positive questions.
This is, I think, you already answered. Dr. Jumsai just answered the first one. This is a question related to the family. I think a lot of family members, it reminds me of someone, I've asked the husband, why is your face very long and sad? The husband said, my wife has taken a vow, for 30 days she will not speak. So I said, is that why you are sad? No, today is the last day of the 30 days. So therefore, there are a lot of this type of family problems. So this is one of them. Sainam, according to my consciousness, I feel no hindrance in showing love to our family people. But the other family people doesn't accept us and act in a hatred manner. How do we deal with such a situation where family members show hatred, animosity, and so on?
Let me answer that first and then add. Swami said, love all, serve all. That means we need to love all beings, human beings, plants, animals, and even there's nothing like, by the way, there's nothing like inanimate according to Swami. This table, this mic, this earth, every atom and cell is permeated by God. I was there in Prashant Nilayam, this is about 30 years ago. That time there was no Sai Kulwant Hall. They were building this cement compound wall. And there was one man, because when you put cement, you put water. This guy was putting the pipe a little bit forcefully. Swami from the balcony, he saw right away, he said, tell him to do it gently, put the water. Because he sees the consciousness, even the so-called, the inanimate thing which is cement or the wall. So our love should go to all. But Swami says, be loved by all. There are even avatars, there are some people don't like Swami, incarnation of love, people write bad things about him, do that. So our duty is to shower the love to the family members, but we can't do anything if they don't reciprocate it. That is how I would view that. You want to add anything?
Hiranyakashipu also had the same problem, the family problem. Because the son, Prahlada and Hiranyakashipu, yes. It's a classic case. But Prahlada came bouncing back to Hiranyakashipu and continued to radiate love. Yes. And then there was a transformation in the father, until Narasimha came out from the pillar.
Our duty is to go on showering love. That's the good point you made, that it is not, oh, the other person is loving us, how can we make them love us? We should forget about it. Go on sending the love, like the example we heard yesterday, Phyllis Crystal. There are so many wonderful devotees. That's what we should.
Okay. See, it's very interesting to see, when I heard, while I was driving down this morning, what's happening to the affluent world. You see, the parents have no time, no quality time to look after their children. And they're dumped somewhere. And what do you expect from them? So that is something which Swami has said time and again, that we have to work towards the family bonding. Now that's failing everywhere. Not only in Singapore, also in Malaysia, and every other country. Why is it so? And why do you find some of the children going astray? Again, value systems are not implemented. So I can tell you for sure, all those children who have undergone the Balukas program, I've seen them grow up well. Doctors, engineers, some working in New York, London, writing to me. So it shows that these value systems that Swami has started has really taken growth in their heart, and I'm sure they can face any situation in life. And that's what we must do. The each way wing must really spread its wing far beyond the family, the community, as far as the nation. This is, I think Malaysia and few other countries are doing it. I think this is well. It augurs well for the question that we have asked. Why is there family disunity? Again, it's simple. Love. What is missing? Love is missing. So if you have love, you don't have to have all these problems. Problems arise because you have lack of love.
Instead of spreading HIV positive, he must be EHV positive. Every child must be EHV positive.
I didn't say that.
No. In summary, every child must be exposed to the Education Human Value Program. Elvin, Australia.
I think it's interesting when we run parenting workshops. One of the first things, right, when we advertise parenting workshop coming up, people always run up to me and ask, are you teaching me how to say, for example, discipline my child, how to put my baby to sleep? And I say, no, when we talk about EHV in the family, dynamic human values or strengthening human values in the family, we don't really worry about how you discipline your child, how you put your baby to sleep. We are looking and examining at the introspection of parents and children itself. Now, coming out from such courses, workshops, feedback coming from parents who attend, tends to be like Ananga Ravi said, time tends to be a poor factor. The ease of communication nowadays tends to be a poor factor as well. In the past, we used to laugh in our youth group when we had two brothers in the same house used to email each other in the next room. Now we have people within the same hall, just WhatsApp you straight away, and I broadcast messages straight away. What we have lost then is the human touch of the element. Also, the progression of age, where it's been necessity for both parents to go out and work in the workforce together to make a living. When you come back, you notice and examine your own childhood. A lot of us as parents start putting expectations on our children based on maybe what we had an unfulfilled need or what we perceive that will be suitable for the future. Like in the past, when I had to choose between the art stream and in the science stream, my dad will always ask me to do the science stream. Why? Because you had an insurance in the future when you wanted to choose your career. But I chose to go to the arts stream at the end of the day. He allowed me to do it, but he was making sure every step of the way I knew what doors that were opening at the same time. So expectations on our children have to be managed, expectations within the family. And thirdly, parents are telling me also is the casualness of the interactions between the family members. When I talk about casualness, it's not talking about disrespect. I'm talking about because parents and children, parents and parents, sibling and siblings see each other day in, day out. What defense is there for me to be nice to you? And I can just talk to you as it is. You'll love me tomorrow as I am. That's not an issue. But then, the family is probably the biggest washing machine there is. Because our guards and our defenses are down straight away. That's why we see a lot of what Swami says as well. It's not just, if we talk about the self, we talk about the basic building block of the family, the basic building block of sowing human values, of understanding the values in society, starts with the family, where is the biggest battleground sometimes.
Which comes to the next question. What is the right age to start to teach children that their life purpose is to realize God? And what is the approach for parents and SSC teachers? Maybe Dr. Atong Jumzai may want to answer this. Right age to start to teach children that their life purpose is to realize God. And what is the approach for parents and SSC teachers?
In our school, Sathya Sai school, we start right from beginning. There's no need to wait for an older age to study about this. But the way we teach, of course, we make it simple for little ones, and you go deeper and deeper as we grow up. So we learn, we teach our children to, right from beginning, to see good in everything, to realize that they are one with everything, nature and so on, but using a lot of stories, using a lot of play, games and so on, But as we grow up, then we go into details and we start to teach them to think for themselves, get them to understand themselves more.
I want to add something to that. So the teaching of SSC can be started from the intrauterine life. When the mother is pregnant, the example is Prahlada. So the Narada came and taught Narayana Mantra when Prahlada was in the womb, and he became the great devotee. And same thing with Abhimanyu. And now there's a research has shown, at least about 10 years ago, in New York University they did, the mothers who live to the classical music, who read some nice books, how the children are there versus mothers who smoke, who listen to rock music and have novels, how their behavior is much different. So really the teaching, the parents' responsibility starts when the mother is pregnant. So the father and mother, they should spend watching wonderful divine lives, and that would be inspiring. So it's really, the earlier the better. As I said, as soon as the baby is in the womb, you start the teaching.
Sairam, I think, as I said earlier, the mother's role has been declining of late many years now, and you find that today's children, they walk around with iPads. A child of 2 years comes to my clinic carrying iPad. See, doctor, I know this. 2-year-old child. So, which means that parents have no time to spend quality time for the children. Sit with them, shower love. See, love is the greatest, as somebody said, atom bomb. It's the greatest bomb around. Use that love. That's not there. Parents have no time. And the mother is the custodian of the family. And unless we wake up to this situation, you'll find things getting from bad to worse.
Children are actually answering back, because nowadays to manage these days children is quite different from those days. The children answer back. The father asked the son, why is it you go to school the same bus with the neighbor's son, isn't it? He said, yes. You go to the same school, isn't it? Yes. You sit in the same classroom, isn't it? Yes. You have the same teacher, isn't it? Yes. And then why is it in the examination he gets 80% and you get 40%? So the son replied, different father. Children are replying. And we need to know how to respond. Now, here comes now this one. This is
the entertainment show is becoming CH makes entertainment show. But anyway,
Dr. Reddy, I know you will say this, because he mentioned once before that Kasturi said a few things, and Baba said to Kasturi, same Uncle Kasturi, he said, see, speeches should not be for entertainment, it should be for enlightenment. Which I know you will remember, you are about to tell me this.
No, it's good, he remembered that, what he said. But what Ravi said is very, very important point. This cyber abuse or cyber addiction, I would say, is a pandemic now. It's all over the world. As he said, maybe in the same room, people will be texting next to each other. And everybody is so humble now, everybody's bent at his bend because of the iPhone. You can see here itself, I will see some patients sitting in the first line, first row, they are looking. Sometimes it is an emergency, but there is people, that means we are so much dependent on that. And they are finding the problems, both mental, like my wife, she's a pediatrician, she had a patient who was texting about 1,000 times a day, and then created some neurological problems. So we were showed in Prashanti Council, I don't know whether you're meeting, how they got dating and they were about to get married, husband and wife, they were instead of talking to each other, they were looking at each other's iPhone, where to go, and they go to the beach instead of enjoying the ocean, they will be looking at the thing. Anywhere you go to the airport, any place, people are all addicted. One time I was seeing my patient, just happened 2 weeks ago, he's an attorney. He was walking, and I could see from my office room, that guy is walking. He had two iPhones. He was reading both of them. He was just taking only 3 minutes. I said, hey, John, what happened? Why you are looking? Because I can watch you through the window that you are walking. Why 2 iPhones? One is my work iPhone, one is my family iPhone, I don't want to mix both. But still, 3 minutes, what will you miss? What is the thing? So like that, people are really so dependent, just automatically we just tend to look at it. So we need to make at least Sai people, let us make it, unless it is necessary as a part of the work, we should not be addicted to that. This is really, Swami said one time, I don't know how many people are there, in Prashant Nilayam, Swami said, even cell phone, throw it in the well, but if you have to do work, keep it. But we all have to use it. But Swami was very much serious about the email. He said it is easy mail. So let us be very careful about the abuse of the electron. Yes.
Is this why Swami always says technology is
Yes, technology, yes.
And everybody used to laugh, but actually it's coming back to,
yes.
even Facebook now is Facebook syndrome. In the medical
Yes.
lines, it's a
Right.
Facebook syndrome,
Exactly.
which is lowering self-esteem and creating depression and suicides and so on.
Correct.
Very good. This is
Brother, just to add on to what he said, see what's important to understand is even in a family, while they're all seated for lunch or dinner, everyone is texting. The father is texting, the mother is texting. The child is texting, the other son is texting. I've been to a family and I saw it through myself. This is what happens when you don't have control on yourself. First was self-control.
He's a good
You're
example.
eating.
He doesn't respond to electronic.
Yes, in our Sathya Sai school, we don't allow the use of all these technical things because we want to teach them to learn to think and understand things for themselves, not just learn from these machines and then you just memorize all this and it comes in automatically. You don't think, you don't learn to discriminate. So in a Sathya Sai school, we don't use it, okay? And we don't allow them to have these machines, and we teach our parents, don't allow this at home, okay? And all the children in our school, they can pass the exams, get to universities, they become successful later in life. There's no problem. You don't need to have all these games and so on that they play. So it's very important to start from when you are very young.
Now comes the question. Please explain regarding the Mudinali happenings. What is your opinion of the Sukshma Baba? Why can't the Central Trust and you all work together and stuff? Things like these are the two questions that are merged both together.
Nice to say he doesn't know. So anyway, so let me do my best. So main thing is we need to focus our life on Swami, his message, his mission, and his words. Most of us have experienced his love. We have had darshan, sparshan, sambhashana. We talked to him, touched him, and even now the videos, audios available. So our focus is on Swami and his words. Regarding whether the Central Trust, Prashant Nilayam, and the Mudrahalli campus people, they are working together. To my knowledge, at least when I talked to the Central Trust, they said they have been trying to get together, work in unity. But as Sai workers, as we have seen, instead of focusing on something which is controversial, which is not clear, let us focus what is clear. Clear is Swami is the avatar of the age, and we have experienced his love. And we have heard what does inspire us when we see the beautiful work which is done in Thailand, or Lavopedia, or Indonesia, Cambodia, Malaysia, Russia. Just focus, let us focus on the good works of Swami instead of focusing on these things which we are not clear about. And Swami is very categorical and clear. Everything, my relation is heart-to-heart relation. It is, I don't need to come in somebody's dream, in somebody's things to give you the message. I come to you, give you the clear message one-to-one. I don't need to and each one of us is a direct contact because we are all the embodiments of the same divinity. If we tune up, Swami speaks to us. And it is a very clear experience of all of us. Whenever we pray, like yesterday Vashi was telling, he went to a meeting and he did not have vegetarian food. He thought about Swami and just Swami right away provided, right? So it's so many, every place. So Swami, God, we need to have a clarity. There is God, one God. Where is He? Omnipresent. He's there in Singapore, He's in Los Angeles, He's in St. Petersburg, Munich, or He's in Buenos Aires. He is everywhere with us, inside us, above us, below us. He told, actually one of my friends from America, he was going to see Swami. Swami said, why do you want to come to Puttaparthi? I'm there with you in Los Angeles. You don't need to come. So Swami, when he said that, you don't confine Swami to a particular place. Let it be Muddanahalli or Vrindavan or Puttaparthi. He's there. You can feel his presence more in Prashant Nilayam because that's where he took his birth, where he spent 85 years of his life, gave more than 1500 discourses, sang with us, walked amongst us, no question. And Swami, in his own divine discourse, has said, this place will be like Tirupati, Shirdi, Makkah, and Jerusalem. In his own words, you can go back to the thing. So why do you, that place is saturated with divinity, but you can experience Swami anywhere, even here right now. Swami, you think about Him, you will experience Him. So you don't need to go anywhere. This is the beginning. So in the beginning, we need to have focus on three things. Nama, Rupa, Dhama. His name, His form, and His place. Pilgrim place with Prashant Nilayam. Then a stage will come, we should grow, that we realize His all names, His all forms, and everything, everywhere, ever. That is the ultimate stage. Because the whole God is five things. Nama, Rupa, and Satchidananda. That's all the whole creation is. We cannot get stuck in the Nama, Rupa, name and form.